So when I talk to the folks at HP Labs, the scientists, the PhDs that are the real brains behind the security analytics program, that's one of the most difficult challenges I have of explaining the federal marketplace. So when you look at an industry that's based on numbers, like financials, they can do the number crunching all day and take your risk down to a nickel. But in the federal government market, it's all about the kind of the value of it is determined by the mission and business owners of that agency. And I think they're the ones that, to me, it's one of the kind of common kind of issues that I hear about is that, while the IT and technology folks work on the tools, the ability to actually model that risk, understanding what that risk means to the mission and business owners comes from the DEA community. And I think there's just got to be both efforts on the technology side, because we can provide the number crunching engines that can pour all of your information, logs, and systems in to give you some value. What that value means, I think, is your question in towards the agency or organization's mission or business. That's one that's easier in some industries than others. It's a continuing challenge. Again, we have those kinds of subjective industries are much harder to deal with, and they're challenges that we continue to address with our scientists because, and it's a real hard problem, and it's one that we have to continue to work on. I'm not sure if at the agency level you thought that issue through. For us, industries where it's transaction-based, very easy. Right? One transaction is $5. Well, you got 10 million lost. We can model all that for you. And at some point, if you want to have robust analytic way of looking at things, we have to be able to quantify things in our mission, I think. Does that help answer your question? It's a good question. It's a hard one.
Anybody else like to comment?
I'll just mention example of the stolen laptop, which had privacy implications, and then eventually the lawsuit was settled for $20 million. So I'm not sure if that's was a way to monetize what the issue was. But I would say to you that in some areas, perhaps that information with the credentials and other information could have been used for other things as well.
Absolutely.
Luckily, so that's an issue. How would you monetize catching a spy? What damage was that done to the country? Lives were lost, things were lost as well. So I think in the government, and by the way, we don't want to talk about some of that as well because we need countermeasures to be able to, it's an ongoing continuous battle with our adversaries as well. So I think from that standpoint, I would just say that it's a little harder for us in the risk area to address that, but I think it's an excellent point you bring up.